Welcome to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we dive deep and answer the ultimate question: how did you hack into tech sales? Each week, we bring you inspiring stories, proven strategies, and insider tips from top performers who've cracked the code to break into tech sales and thrive. Whether you're just starting out, making a career pivot, or ready to level up, this is your go-to space for actionable advice and real-world success stories. Let's crack the code together, because hacking into tech sales isn't just a dream, it's your next move. Now with your host, the founder of Tech Sales Funnels and the tech sales hacker himself, Davison Da Silva.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast. This is Davison, the tech sales hacker, your host. I'm super excited today. I have Marcus on the call, live here with me today. And I want to start. Marcus is a. If you open his LinkedIn profile, you're gonna see all his content. He's gonna see that he's being a huge influence on the sales community. He has a book. He's a bestseller author. He has a training program. He has all sorts of stuff. Today we're gonna dive deeper into his life, and I'm super excited for today. Welcome, Marcus.
Hey, I'm pumped to be here. I'm just a guy who's made a lot of mistakes, and I'll probably share some of those mistakes today with you on the call.
I love that because the best way to learn is by trial and error, right? And then including this podcast here, I started like a few months ago, and I'm learning every single time. And I already got some ideas for you, so I thank you so much for your consulting here already. So Marcus, who is Marcus? Let's start at a very high level.
Sure.
And starting from your background, your name. I really love your name. We started this conversation on LinkedIn.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. So I'm born and raised in a very small town called Springfield, Oregon. If you haven't heard of it, not really surprised. Very small, dinky town. I grew up as the middle child of two immigrants. My dad was from China. My mom was from Taiwan. They actually escaped the Cultural Revolution to come to America with absolutely nothing. So we grew up very, very poor. They ended up starting a Chinese restaurant. So I started working in the restaurant at a really young age, 5 years old. Not fun at all, by the way. And that was my life. Actually, it was like, man, this sucks actually as a kid growing up, because I'm working after school, working after hours. And that was kind of part of life. And I thought entrepreneurship was really, really hard and not a great way to live. So fast forward, eventually I graduated from college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And this is in 2007. And I was really fortunate at the time. I had 5 different job offers because I was interviewing pretty aggressively. And they ranged from a $29,500 base salary up to a $60,000 base salary. And I went for the $29,500 one, so the lowest one, which is actually in B2B sales for a startup division for the company I've been interning at, which was started in a brand new division in Oregon. And I didn't actually realize it was a sales role, but they positioned like, hey, you're going to help us. Like, we have 0 customers. And your job is literally is a greenfield territory. You got to build from scratch. There was no real training. There was no real playbook outside of a manual written by people at corporate who had never done the job. So they gave me that dusty old book. I threw it in the garbage, and I'm like, let me see if I can figure this out. Now, almost got fired at first. So, I was outworking everybody. They told me it's a numbers game. So I made the most calls. I sent the most emails. We also did in-person, the door knocking, walking the businesses as well. I walked in more business than anybody else, but I had the absolute worst results. Fast forward literally 7 weeks in, literally my peers were closing some deals because it's SMB. I didn't close a single deal. So I was stressed because I was like, oh man, I thought I'd be good at this because I'm a hard worker. I grew up working really, really hard. And literally week 7, my boss pulls me on Friday, 4 p.m. on a Friday, and says, hey, you're terrible at your job. You got to figure this out, or otherwise I got to cut you. And I was like, oh boy. And at this time, the economy started getting really bad. So unemployment started to skyrocket. Businesses were actually physically shutting down. Literally, I was walking to businesses that were boarding up because the economy started getting really, really bad. Now, fortunately, eventually figured it out, started having some success, ended up hitting number 1 9 months in a row, earned 2 promotions in the interim, continued on my trajectory in my career, ended up getting promoted 10 more times over my career, stayed in corporate sales and leadership for, basically over 14 years. Had a lot of fun doing that as well. Made a lot of mistakes. It got to the point where, I was running a decent sized sales force, about 110 plus employees. We did about $200 million a year in sales. hitting
Wow.
President's Club every single year, winning all the awards and all that type of stuff. A lot of fun, and that was really, really cool. And then in 2019 was when I made the move to go and start my own business. So I dove into that, and now it's been, we just hit our 6-year mark. We've been really, really, really fortunate because now we work directly with sales organizations and helping their reps, a lot of them are tech sellers, helping them crush their numbers. I mean, in the 6 years, we've brought in over 750 clients now. They've crushed me with thousands of documented wins. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, these are, and they're actually, they're reps and teams from anywhere from small companies like, startups all the way to, companies you've probably heard of, like, Salesforce, HubSpot, ZoomInfo, Google, Microsoft, companies like that. So we've seen a pretty cool spread across the board, but it's been really, really cool as a part of the journey is even creating a lot of the free content you'd probably have seen on the link that you mentioned, where we're able to help, influence other people. So, people see the content, they take action, even if they're not in our programs, they're getting really, really cool results. They're learning from it as well. So we decided to write a book as well a couple years back. So about a couple years ago, we decided to write a book, became a Wall Street Journal best-selling book within a few weeks, right? So that was pretty cool. But the coolest part is being able to have an impact directly to the people that are listening to this podcast, to be able to help transform their lives. Because what I found is when you truly excel in your craft, you take it truly seriously, you can make life-changing money. And with life-changing money, you can transform your life for the better, for literally generations to come if you do it right.
Oh, I love that. And you do amazing beauty content. I just went to your website today, downloaded your book. There is all sorts of stuff. In fact, there's so much there that I'm like, okay, where do I start, right? And I'm actually interested in your coaching and everything. And you used a word describing your early stage of your journey. Eventually, so you had all those trials and things, and eventually, and then you quickly transitioned to all the wins. What triggered? What changed? What was the eventually? What did you figure out early stage in your career?
So I'm a firm believer that at every new level, there is a new devil, right? And at every stage in your career, you should always be learning, right? In everything. Like, I am still constantly learning. I'm still failing forward. I am still struggling as well. But I'm okay admitting that. And I'm okay kind of diving forward, right? So, but early in my career wasn't that way, to be quite frank. So a little context, even before this, I was always like somewhat okay at school. And then when I was going to college, I had an internship. And this internship was a sales and management internship for a company called Enterprise Rent-A-Car, which they rent the cars, right? So really well-known internship. And I did pretty well with it. They actually had we had to sell as well, sell insurance, and we were stack ranked. So, and I think I basically just did whatever they told me, and I became one of the top, like literally beating everybody out in sales. Like on top, I 40 plus in the region. Like, these are like people that this is their full time. I'm just an intern at school, and I'm like crushing people. And I'm like, this is okay. Like, oh, I guess I'm pretty good at working hard. This must be it. So I would say I had a little bit of an ego. That was an issue. I had an ego about myself. So when I got in this B2B sales role, I'm like, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna work really hard, and I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be number one. And that became the complete opposite when I started. I got basically punched in the face over and over and over. And I felt rejection I never felt before. I felt like an imposter. I was second guessing myself. And like, I had all these big goals and dreams. Like, I was in a really serious relationship. And, the girl I was dating, which I ended up marrying, I needed to buy a ring. I wanted to impress her parents that I was actually good at what I did. I wanted to buy a house. I wanted to pay for my MBA. I wanted to do all these things in cash. But that's really hard to do when you're bad at your job. And I was bad at my job. And I wasn't willing to admit that. So for the first six or 7 weeks, I would say, I would blame everybody but myself. I would say, Davidson, it's not my fault. It's the economy. The economy is really, really bad. It's because unemployment is 10%. It's because I have the worst territory, actually the smallest territory, the least amount of prospects. Like, all the inbound leads are going over to Tim over here. I'm not getting a single inbound lead. Like, I didn't get any training. I didn't get any support. My boss is really bad. He just beats me up all the time mentally. Like, this is not my fault. The playbook they gave me is the absolute worst. The leads are garbage. So I blame everyone around me.
Interesting. Yeah.
And the pivotal moment was when my boss sat me down and he didn't really call me. He just said I had to figure it out, right? And it was the so now what moment. And at that point, I'm like, so now what? Like, all those things might be true. It may not be my fault, but I'm still responsible for it. And I realized at that point I had really 3 options, which is number 1, I can quit, which I wasn't going to do because I was really scared about getting another job. Okay. The market's getting really bad. Number two, I could like try to figure it out. Or number three, I could like, I'll get fired trying. So I'm like, okay, let me just try it out until I get fired, for trying. So at that point, like I also started going to the library every single weekend. I would read every single sales book. Like I would read every book I could find on sales, psychology, anything. I started going and like looking for mentors and coaches. And it was a different time because YouTube wasn't as big as it is now, right? There wasn't all those resources. There wasn't any available things. So it was quite hard for me to find these resources. But then I started investing, going to conferences, right? And I would apply and learn I become better at sales. And it was across the board from how I ask questions, how I carry myself, how I prepare, how to create a point of view, how do I actually outbound, how do I cold call, how do I run a discovery, how do I run a demo. I learn all these things. But earlier, I didn't have these skills. So once I figured that out, I get my result.
Okay, so you had the drive, you had the personality, the grit, the hard working, but the skills were missing. So I'm assuming that that's exactly what you do right now, teaching the people who have that fit, but they're missing the skills. Am I correct?
Yeah, in a nutshell, we give them the playbook to be massively successful, the A to Z. So it's not only, so we have a few different programs, right? So our rep program, we're actually completely full. So we're actually at max capacity already. But even with the rep program, so we have many reps, a lot of AEs. Right now we have over 200 people in the program.
Oh, wow.
And these are people, by the way, they pay their own hard-earned dollars to be in the program. And we help them literally A to Z. So it's not just like, hey, how do you run discovery? How do you multi-thread? How do you build a PO? Yeah, all those are part of it. But we teach you, how do you think? Because the top 1%er thinks a certain way. What's your routine look like? The top 1% has a very set routine, how you do things a certain way to show up in a certain way. Okay? So you get the mind right, you get the habits right, and you stack the selling skills on top of that, you become unstoppable. Right? So that's why our typical student pays their own money to get in the program. They get results in the average 13.44 days.
Wow.
Average student. So we have people that take 90 days to get results because they're slow to take action. And we feel literally day one, they're already making progress already. So we typically want people that take action because reality is this is an investment. So people invest between $8,000 to $30,000 a year to get into our coaching program. This is their own pocket. So they're working towards this, right? So they obviously want to they want to make it back pretty quick. They take action, and because of that, they get crazy results.
I love it. So it's like a yearly kind of a membership program where they have access to A to Z, correct?
A to Z. They get coaching every single week.
Okay, wow,
They get the
interesting.
exact playbook for success.
Yeah, so funny thing, was one of the testimonials on your website. The guy was so happy, so so successful. There's like, I'm even like losing weight, and I'm the best shape of my life. I'm like, this must be like a very holistic program. Teaching not only the sales techniques but also the whole mindset, the whole.
Yeah, so because in a nutshell, I have learned a long time ago, and this is from Jim Rohn. He said, if you work hard at your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. So we intentionally build the program around everything holistically as well, from like even like how you should show up. I mean, at the end of the day, no one wants to be massively successful at work but fail in life. So if we allow you to show up, become the person that you really want to become in your own life, then that will show up in work as well. And oftentimes what people don't realize is our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. Our roots determine the fruits. So that's why, yeah, maybe we market like get better at closing and win rate. Well, that kind of gets people to kind of pay attention. But once you're in the program, we teach you the skills to actually how to be massively successful in life across the board. So this is actually why it's really funny because we'll have students really go from making, I don't know, 100K to $1 million. They'll close deals and earn like 700K for one deal. They'll have presents come every single year. They'll retire their spouse. They'll buy property. They'll do all these insane things. And when I ask them what their proudest achievement is, consistently across the board, the number one thing they say is, I'm more confident in myself and I'm
Mm,
happier. And that now shows in every part of their life.
I love that. What do you think is because you are boots on the ground, you're like literally training those special forces of sellers that go and execute. What's the biggest challenge right now on the battlefield, like when it comes to this whole change, AI and everybody talking about different sales motions, and some
Mhm.
stuff is dying, other stuff is birthing right now. What do you see as an expert on that field?
Mm. So I would say the number one challenge I see people run into is the ability to manage the territory between their ears.
Mm,
And what I mean by that is there's so much noise out there from AI, the best go to market motion, this
mhm,
magic script that does this one magic email that does this. Yes, those are all tactics at the end of the day. But when you think about what sales is about influence. How can I get one person or multiple parties or people to part ways of some sort of resource in exchange of value in some way, shape, or form? So when you understand to be the case, you focus on core skills. And the most successful people, they continually do the basic fundamentals wildly well without convincing them otherwise to do other things. Like, I'll give you a really simple example. Salesforce came out with a study, I think 2 years ago. They said the average seller only spends about 35% of their week doing sales related activities.
35%.
Yeah, it's income producing activities.
Mm,
Reality is your entire income is based off of your effort doing those things. That means the other 65% of the time is doing other things that don't truly serve them and make them
mm,
money. If we just understand that piece, if it's like, okay, let's just focus on making that 35%, 60%, and then 80%, 100%, by a default, you will generate better results.
mm,
But that requires you to know how to block out things, block out the noise, and create the environment for success. And this applies to literally everything. So this is why even me personally, I'll literally create the environment for myself by hacking my phone. So this way I don't get sucked into it. Create the environment where when I go to my laptop, I know exactly what to do for that day. I'm going to move the needle on things that will generate the most income, not today, but for the long run.
mm.
And that requires understanding that the territory demand is right between your ears. And that's where it starts.
Oh, I love it. Wow. I can see why people are having success on your program. What's I know there's probably multiple tips and strategies, but what's one thing that you'll be like, if you can remember this one, you're gonna block most of the noise
Mhm.
out there. If you can just do this one thing. And you mentioned about the phone, that you control your phone, your schedule. Is there anything that you teach your students? One thing that makes the biggest impact?
Sure. I mean, there's many things you can do, but I would say this is a two-part strategy. So, I think number one, first off, you have to make it hard for you to get pulled away and distracted. So I'll give you a simple example. So everyone's got different addictions, but my phone's very addicting. So on my phone, it's on do not disturb at all times, literally at all times. The only people that can text me or call me, get a hold of me, are is just like my wife,
Hmm.
my in-laws, family, like that. That's it. Nobody else. Okay, that's the key. On top of that, all any type of addictive app, email, Slack, social media, all notifications are turned off, and those are placed on the furthest page away on my phone. It's like the fourth or fifth page, right? On top of that, I also have app limits set on the phone. So even if I lose control and I swipe over to it, it
Mm.
won't let me open the apps.
Interesting. Okay.
And if you take a look here, I'm just gonna pull my phone, you can kind of see it. But even like if it's kind of showing the screen,
Yeah.
it's grayscale.
Yep.
This makes it less addicting to look at the colors pull you in, right? So I'm creating an environment, and those settings match my laptop. So that way,
Mm.
I get notifications popping up. I'm not getting like, I'm not getting Slack pop-ups or emails. It only when I go into those apps, it's because I need to at the time it's designated. So that's number one, create that environment. Number two, this is a really simple tip. At the end of each day, plan tomorrow.
Mm.
So you're gonna plan tomorrow today. So the very end of the day, I literally go. I have a 12-week plan of how I plan each quarter out. I look at the biggest rocks that I move the needle on. I look at the next day, what are the open blocks, and I block out time to do the most important things first. And I make sure it's completely filled up. There should be no white space. So that way, it's the highest priority. Now, in some situations, I have meeting days. Like today is a meeting day, so I'll
Mm.
have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different meetings. They all range from 30 minutes to like 2 hours. So I didn't have too many of those blocks, which is okay. So I found some of those blocks of the smaller tasks to do, and I slip those in.
Mm.
This way, come the next day, I don't need to think about what I need to do. I just execute. What's on my calendar is exactly what I do. So that way I don't get distracted, because if I make a decision on the spot, I'll usually make the wrong decision, which is like, let me just open social media. Let me just like check email. Let me check Slack. And it pulls me away from the most important things that actually move the needle.
I love it. Wow, those are everyone listening to this right now. Please go back a few minutes. You just gave like two big strategies that will make a huge difference. I'm trying to apply a couple of those. I need to do much better. But thank you so much for that.
Mm.
Um, let's talk about Veiling. Veiling Consulting. What's Veiling? What's the name for?
Yeah.
And I know it encompasses your business. And how can what kind of levels can people get involved? Like
Yeah.
if the almost everyone listening to this right now, I would say they're sellers, tech sellers. They're either
Mm-hmm.
trying to get into tech sales,
Yep.
they're thinking about tech sales, they are in tech sales, they're maybe just got laid off because maybe they didn't hit their quota or maybe they
Mm-hmm.
got pushed out. Like how can people get more of you in your
100%.
programming out there?
So we have different levels, right? So first off, I would say like 99% of stuff I put out there is completely free. Like,
Mm.
so that's actually why when people actually go to even my YouTube, you'll see full modules and courses inside that they're like 2-3 hours long, completely free, that you can go watch completely ungated. We have over 400 hours of free content literally on
Nice.
YouTube, right? We just started a YouTube channel a couple years ago too. So that's like boom. So we have tons of free stuff like that. We have tons of free like PDFs and videos. So that's all free. That'll serve a lot of people, right? And as people kind of start going into our world, maybe they want to buy the book. So they can get it from my site. They can go to
Mm-hmm.
Amazon. Doesn't really matter. So that book, pretty awesome book. It's a Wall Street Journal best-selling book. It's basically the playbook, A to Z. So it's a really great book. Comes with a free course as well. It's like an 8-hour course we created that comes free with it as well. So you'll get that too, right? That's like, if you got on my site, it's like $5,
Yep.
right? And then that's really it for like kind of the lower level, right? Now, at our other program, our individual program, which is completely capped, we're at max capacity right now at all levels, right? That's when we're coaching you directly, and there's different levels of support between that as well, right? So it's kind of the rep program. And then we have the B2B part of our business. So this is where we focus heavily on growing right now in our stage in our
Mm.
business. And that's a lot of fun. So here, we realized a couple of years ago was, I actually stay away from B2B. So we get these inbound leads because of social media, and we turn away most of the leads. And the reason is because I remember being in corporate, we invest, 50 grand, 100 grand, have a trainer come in, people get all excited. Fast forward 90 days, nothing stuck.
Okay.
They already forgot, right? Basically a waste of money. It's like we didn't spend the money. So I didn't want to be part of that problem.
Mm.
So when I got these inbound leads, I just said no. And over the last several years, we have these leads. Some of them have been following me for years at this point. They said, well, like, Marcus, like, come on, like, what could you sell me? I want you to come train my team. It's a small team. And we just put them in maybe your rep program. We see the results. Can we just put them in there? I'm like, sure. So I'm like, okay, we put a team in the program. It's only a few reps. It's like 70K, whatever. Put them in the program. And it's a 12-month program,
Okay.
more or less. they got insane results.
Mm.
Like every rep hit quota, they blew the number out. They way more pipe. Like retention went way up, turnover went way down. I mean, like amazing. Like, well, it's kind of cool. I mean, this might be a better model. So we started selling more of that. Now we start running into an issue of the business where if they're a larger organization, it wouldn't necessarily make sense. If they have 20 reps, that per head price point was just too expensive for them, right? They're like,
Mm.
okay, we can't invest, 160 grand for for just like this program. Like, we're a smaller business. We only, 8, 10 reps. I'm like, okay, got it. So we start to test and build up better programs. And now we're several years on the road now, and now we have different offers depending on the business. So, like
Mm.
for instance, we have offer number one where we do a diagnostic. So we have some companies that are just like maybe I don't say the early stage, but they're maybe like they have a sales team already, but they know they're losing money and they're not sure what the cause is. Is it the reps we have? Is
Mm.
it the lack of training? Is it our ICP? Is it the management team? What,
Interesting.
what is it exactly? So we have a diagnostic service first, right? So it's a really, really cool service where it's about 2 to 3 week program. We basically take all their Salesforce data or whatever CRM they have. We analyze all the data. We get a bunch of call recordings at different stages of the deal. We analyze all the deals. We talk to different reps and leaders, different levels. So we have a really good, like quantitative and qualitative way of looking at that whole business to
Wow.
cover, hey, what are the top 3 things we can fix? I mean, there's always like a ton of little things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what are the top 3 biggest levers to fix? And we just give them in a single 1 to 2 page memo. They can go and fix as a plan. Now, if they want our help from there, then we can help them as well. So then we can help with deployment. So let's just say, for
Mm.
example, I'll give you an example. So we have this company, I can't say the name for obvious reasons. So they actually want a sales trainer on their team. I said, hold on. I think we should do this. We should do diagnostics first, right? It's number one. It's cheaper to invest in you first. We can make sure it's the right problem we're solving for. Then we solve that problem. They said, okay, sounds good. So we did diagnostic, and we uncover their team for sure. Maybe some issues, but the number one thing we want to solve for was like we need to make sure the sales leaders know how to lead their people. They wouldn't do the core fundamentals.
Mm.
So then we did a next step engagement for 90 days. We built up the whole leadership playbook exactly what the sales VPs need to do, A to Z, how to run their team, lead them in, coach them, one-on-ones, all the core things of being a great sales leader. And they're doing it while we're talking, we're coaching them through it. And their results started getting better.
Mm.
And this is a company that had been missing a number for years, like 3, 4, 5 years in a row. And now they're trending towards in their number. And we hadn't even trained their sales team.
Interesting.
We just taught them how to be better leaders. And, we did that. And then this started hitting their number, which is amazing. And then now we have next phase with them in which we're actually building out how to manage performance. So, like, they obviously weren't very good at managing the performance. So we kind of put in the SOPs, protocols, and also we had to change how they hired. So there's a hiring issue as well. So basically helping them rebuild their job description to how they hire and find the best talent. So like we change all that for them, right? So that's why it's so important to diagnostic, right? So
Mm.
sometimes we'll do the diagnostic first, and then we'll do the back end enablement, right, in terms of what it need to be. And sometimes it's a very targeted sprint for 6 weeks, focused on solving core problems. And then, of course, after that, there might be other challenges we want to work on. We'll fix those as well as like a longer engagement. So ultimately, we're helping these companies build a predictable sales machine
Wow.
across the board that lasts beyond just like hero reps and hero managers.
Wow. That's you up to something. It's super needed. Um, Clearly that you're having success at it. That's amazing. That's like a full end to end kind of a consulting service. And you mentioned a little bit about the talent acquisition, the hiring, and all that, which I'm really big into talent intelligence and helping people get jobs and that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So on your perspective, what makes like seriously like I know there's all sorts of skills and all that, but what makes like the best sellers out there? Like, what makes the best performers? And, what are the best skills that if you could choose a couple, that makes people successful in your
Well, should I
opinion?
say innate skills that they probably already have, or what they could develop into?
That's a good point. I would say first innate,
Okay.
and then if there is one that they can develop,
Yeah.
because
Cool.
you're an expert at helping those develop from scratch, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'll say first off, innately, and by the way, it's okay. Like those listening, if you don't have it, that's okay. The key is you're aware, just like I was. I need to be punched in the face and told I
mm,
was wrong, so I could learn from it. Right. So you got to put that ego aside. So I think innately, or maybe not, or developed, if you will. Number one is you need to be coachable.
mm,
Like it seems so simple, but being coachable also means you're willing to look in the mirror and say, I'm not good at this, which means I lack the skills at this thing I'm trying to do. And I'm open to getting better. And then you go and you go get help. So let's just say, for example, if you've been on the job market for a while and you're struggling to get interviews and whatnot, maybe you should get some help. Okay. Like maybe not just like blindly put out a resume, actually get some help and coaching so that can cut down your learning curve. The fastest way to accelerate your learning curve is to learn from those who've already been where you are. It's
mhm,
literally that simple. So that coachability is so vital in anything that you do. So that means you can walk into an organization. Maybe you never sold that technology before, that industry before, but if you're coachable, that means you're willing to go and learn and figure it out. Okay. The second thing I'll say is really important, it kind of feeds into it, is resourceful.
mm,
Being resourceful is wildly underrated. That means you can be put in any situation and you will win even without resources. But because you are resourceful, you will find a way to figure it out and get it done. And it's a mindset shift. So even if you're like, well, I'm not really resourceful, I can't go to the problem, that's okay. I used to be the same way. I get hit with a problem, like, oh, it's not my fault. It's someone else's fault. But I started to rewire my brain and ask better questions like, okay, if I could solve this, what would that look like?
mm,
Who could I talk to that might have a better answer for me? I didn't like the end result. How can I figure that out? It's almost like you're prompting your own brain, you prompt AI. So the better you can prompt your own brain, the more effective is the result. Okay. The third one I'll say is adaptability.
adaptability.
So this is so key because in every sales organization, things change all the time.
Mm,
So your ability to adapt and change is so vital. And if you have those three core skills like coachability, you have adaptability, you have resourcefulness, you can really be successful anywhere in anything that you do. That is wildly important. They're not even sales, because it's like overall how to be really good at anything. So that's what I'll focus on, trying to develop those skills or realizing those skills. Now, in terms of like actual sales skills, I was like, I mean, in times like today, it's like, okay, you can't be the smartest because AI is smarter than you. Okay, like that's just a reality. But how can you be good at the human parts, the interacting with people, the soft skills, reading people, reading the room, reading the person, adjusting accordingly, being really curious, improving your active listening skills, your communication skills, your discovery skills. How can you increase those skills? And a lot of those skills are best built not just on sales calls, but in real life.
mm,
And you can apply that across the board.
mm. Interesting. I love that. We could actually, boom, mic drop right here, and then kind of finish the podcast. We're going on time here, but I want to capture something for closing. You know your audience, sellers. My audience, sellers. You have a podcast. I have this podcast here that I'm trying to inspire more people to to go for career development, to if they feel like they don't have the best job, to go for another one. And in tech sales, it's always the adaptability is needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any final words, anything that I didn't ask you today, or something that you'd like to tell the audience? And then and also, um, how can people get started with you and find out more details about you? Just connect to LinkedIn, or just kind of get your book. Or I want to be very clear, because you have so much good stuff. I don't want people to just listen and not do anything about it. I wanted
Sure.
them to get moving.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, if you're listening to this podcast, I would say you're already in the top 20% of salespeople, because that means you're taking your own time to improve your own skills, improve your game. So that is like awesome for stuff. Like you can be listening to any podcast about any type of random thing. You can be watching junk TV. You can be scrolling social media. If you're taking the time to listen to this point, major kudos to you, the listener. If you're watching this, congrats to you, because that means you're already in that top percentile already. The next step, of course, is taking action. So you get into that top 1% is you have to have a bias for action. And to be specific, speed to action. So it's not that cool. This is really cool. This is a great interview. I'm gonna do something maybe next week, because you won't. Let's be real here. But it's actually listening and taking action now. So for instance, like if you want to learn more and get better at selling, like I'll say first, head over to my LinkedIn, start following me on there, or go to my YouTube. Let's look at Marcus Chan. Tons of free stuff on there, and start watching some every single week. And that's completely free. You start taking action, you'll get some great results. And honestly, if you want to look to get more help, whether if our individual program is completely full, no problem. Tell your sales leaders, head to bentleyconsulting.com. You can learn more from there as well.
Oh, love it. Thank you so much, Marcus. Marcus Chain here today, everyone. Amazing interview. There is so many things, so many good things that he just dropped in the last 30 minutes or so that you have to probably rewatch, re-listen to it. Thank you so much for joining today. And hopefully everyone can just go and follow Marcus. I am following Marcus already, and I'll now, especially after this podcast, I want to dive deeper into the things that he teaches and go from there. So thanks so much today for joining.
My pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we crack the code and uncover the strategies to break into tech sales. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to hack their way into this exciting career. Remember, hacking into tech sales isn't just a goal, it's a mission. Let's keep hacking, learning, and winning together. Catch you next time.